Let's talk about a massive shift that's happening right now in the world of tax and accounting. For decades, the playbook for CPA firms was pretty simple: build a fantastic team, keep every single thing in-house, and grow. But as we're about to see, that entire playbook is being torn up and completely rewritten.
This sentence just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The traditional all-in-house model was the absolute gold standard. It was reliable, it was predictable, and for a really long time, it was very, very profitable. But the ground underneath the industry has shifted, and that foundation that once seemed so solid, well, it's starting to show some serious cracks.
So let's just look at the contrast here. On one side, you've got the old model. Think of it as a stable, predictable environment where you could pretty much plan out your staffing for the entire year. But on the other side, you have today's reality, and it's more like a perfect storm of constant tax reforms, relentless compliance deadlines, and a critical shortage of experienced talent. That old fortress just wasn't built to handle this kind of weather.
So let's dig into our first key point. The old model isn't just feeling a little strained, it is actively breaking down. The very foundation of how these firms have operated for years is being seriously challenged by all these modern pressures.
The real problem is that these pressures are all stacking on top of each other. It's not just one thing. You've got these relentless tax reforms changing the rules every year, tighter compliance standards, and clients who expect more than ever. And all of that is built on a foundation that's been weakened by a massive talent shortage. You simply can't hire your way out of this problem anymore. Let's zoom in on that talent piece for a second, because it is arguably the biggest challenge of them all. This isn't just about finding a few good people. It's about a fundamental crisis in the professional pipeline that's affecting every single firm out there. I mean, just think about it. Trying to hire an experienced tax professional today feels like an impossible task. It is incredibly expensive, with salaries just skyrocketing because of the fierce competition. The hiring process itself is painfully slow, often taking months just to find the right person. And even when you think you've found them, you're competing against every other firm for a tiny pool of qualified candidates. And this is where things get really nasty. It creates this vicious cycle. The talent shortage means your current teams are overworked. That burnout leads to high turnover, and when your experienced people walk out the door, they take critical client knowledge with them. So then service quality suffers, which puts even more pressure on the staff who are left. It's this horrible feedback loop that just drains resources, morale, and ultimately your profits. But what if there was a way to actually break that cycle? This is where a really innovative solution comes into play: the hybrid team model. It's a fundamental rethinking of how a modern tax team should even be built in the first place. So what in the world is a hybrid tax team? It's not about replacing your internal team, not at all. It's about augmenting them, giving them superpowers, really. The model combines your core, in-house experts, the people who know your clients inside and out, with the raw execution power of a dedicated outsourced team. So you get that crucial internal strategy combined with powerful external scale. Now, this model works because it creates this beautiful, clear separation of responsibilities. Your internal experts are suddenly freed up to focus on what they do best: high-value strategic planning, building client relationships, and handling the final reviews. At the same time, the outsourced team becomes your engine room, handling all of that essential, time-consuming work of preparation and compliance. Okay, so that's the theory. That's the big idea. But how does this actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at the practical application and the real tangible benefits that firms are seeing right now. The impact on your bottom line is immediate. The hybrid model fundamentally changes your whole cost structure. Your fixed staffing costs go way down because you're no longer carrying a massive payroll for work that's really seasonal. Your recruitment expenses are drastically reduced. And the result? You can add capacity and grow revenue without adding all the proportional overhead. It's a game changer. And here's the crucial point. This isn't just some internal efficiency play to save a few bucks. Your clients feel the benefits directly. They get faster turnaround times on their returns. There are fewer errors because you have a clear, multi-layered review process that catches more issues. And maybe most importantly, they get more time and access to your senior advisors, whose time is no longer being eaten up by routine prep work. Now, whenever this model comes up, a few common concerns immediately pop into everyone's head. So let's just tackle them head-on, rapid-fire style. The first big one is always about control. The answer to that is an emphatic no. You don't lose control. What you do is delegate execution. You set the rules of the game, you define the workflows, you establish the quality standards, and your internal team always performs the final review. The outsourced team is working within your system, not outside of it. You're always in the driver's seat.
Next up is the big one, data security. In an industry that is literally built on confidentiality, this is completely non-negotiable. So is it actually safe to send sensitive client information to an outside provider? Absolutely. Yes, as long as you partner with a reputable firm. Professional outsourcing providers live and die by their security. They operate under ironclad NDAs, they use secure data transfer methods, and they follow really robust compliance frameworks. Their entire business model depends on protecting your data. And what about the human element? What about the people inside your firm? The natural fear is that if you bring in an outsourced team, your current employees are going to feel like they're being replaced. But what we see on the ground is almost always the exact opposite. Internal teams don't feel threatened, they feel relieved. Remember that vicious cycle of burnout we talked about? Well, this breaks it. They are finally free from the repetitive grinding tasks and can focus on the more engaging, strategic work, the very reason they became accountants in the first place.
So when you put all of this together, a really clear picture starts to emerge. The hybrid model isn't just some clever workaround for a temporary problem. It's quickly becoming the new industry standard for smart, sustainable growth.
This right here is the core takeaway. The future of a successful CPA firm isn't a choice between one extreme or the other. It's a strategic blend. It's all about combining the irreplaceable expertise of your core team with the flexible, scalable power of an outsourced execution engine. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to. This isn't some fleeting trend. In a world of constant change and immense pressure, the hybrid model is proving, time and again, to be the most resilient, the most profitable, and the most sustainable way to build a firm for the future. Which really just leaves us with one final crucial question. It's a question for every firm leader to think about as they navigate this new frontier. Is your business built to withstand the pressures of today, and is it truly ready for the challenges of tomorrow?